Howdy and blessings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Michael S. Heiser Foundation live stream on a Tuesday afternoon. It is a blessing to be here. We're going to be having a lot of fun tonight in the sense that we're going to be learning a lot about what's coming to the DCW conference, but we also want to turn our attention to some important things when it comes to supporting us in the foundation, especially our special guest today, Dr. Ron Johnson, and some of the things that have been happening on his end. You will want to know that because we are called to bear each other's burdens and to pray for each other and to build each other up. So that's exactly what we're going to do here, or at least attempt. Thank you. I think it's V Zartel. Ring them bells. What's happening, brother? Good to see you here. Make sure that you share this stream with your community. You will help us out a lot if you do that. And we're super excited again to be able to do this on the regular basis. If you're watching from Facebook, make sure that you share and you comment. If you're watching directly on YouTube, remember that is the one platform that allows us to have no delay. In other words, I can see everything that is happening there. And thank you for sharing, ringing bells. We truly appreciate you. And we about to get this going. We have 30 seconds before the start of the show. And yeah, we have super low latency on YouTube. Is phenomenal, so I can see your comments and we can interact with those comments in real time. It's definitely a blessing. Technology, it's always a blessing when it works, and when it doesn't, you just call a geek like me and I come running help you fix it. Hallelujah. Well, we're gonna start this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another Michael S. Heiser Foundation live stream. My name is Jorge Gil. I am your producer and co-host, but you didn't come here to see me. Now, before I bring in our official host, Drina, I'm going to ask you to please smash the like button, share the stream. It helps us out tremendously because it gets to more people. Also, leave a comment. At least let us know where you're watching from. It's super important for us to know where our family lives, where our community is. So we're super happy about that. And now Drina is going to tell us what the stream today is all about, and we're going to let her take over from here.
Well, good evening, you guys. Thanks for joining us another Tuesday evening. And you will notice we're a little later today than usual because sometimes our guests are in a different time zone and they have to finish work and eat dinner and all that. So Ron is in a different time zone, so we are accommodating his time and his needs. And so we are happy to bring him on tonight. Well, I think I met Ron and his beautiful wife, Susan, for the first time. I was a +1 for Mike at their wedding. And so I met them there. I didn't get to talk to them much because it was their wedding. They had a lot of guests to talk to, but that was my first introduction to Mike's friend, Ron Johnson, and his beautiful wife, Susan. And so we are going to be talking a little bit about something that's really important in our lives. You know, our faith is our most important thing, but our family is the next thing that's near and dear and that we treasure in our hearts. And Ron and his beautiful wife, Susan, have been married for 40 years now, right, Ron?
That's correct. Yeah, 40.
40 years. And I've known them all that time. And Mike and I have sat along and been privileged to go along in their story of Susan and her health journey. And I just think it's appropriate for us to, since we know Dr. Ron so well and he's so important to the foundation, I just think it's so important to know a little bit about his family and the trials and the difficulties that come with having a family and having someone that is on a different health journey than we are. And so I would like for him to just introduce himself again and how he met his wife, and then about the struggles that she has had and how that has just brought their family together and has helped them lean on you lean on the Lord and on a community that is supporting him in prayer and love. So go ahead, Ron, and just introduce yourself again and tell us a little bit about the health journey of your wife.
Yeah, well said. Thank you so much, Trina. We do go back all the way to the beginning, don't we? And I guess I was in Mike's wedding and you were in ours. And so, yeah, Susan, as you know, Trina, she's gone through 90. Our last child was born in 97. She had a heart attack back then and had a triple bypass. And so she's grown, she's, as our marriage has progressed over these years, we've always dealt with issues of health for her. And God has been good, though, and continual doctor visits have kept her healthy. And so, but it's always been a concern, right? And so she actually had a stroke. I don't know if I even brought this up with our community here in 2025. A year and a half ago, she had a stroke, and a small stroke in her brain where she couldn't speak very well for a while. And that has been healed. But again, it's a setback. She's just tired. And she retired from teaching last year. It was last summer that she stopped 23 years of teaching fifth grade. So she's been able to concentrate on her health that way. Well, then about 2 weeks ago, August 9th, it was, and I was flying in from out of town and got a call or a text that Taylor, my son, was picking me up and I was going to meet her at the hospital. Turns out she had a heart attack, and it's called a SCAD, SCAD. I think I wrote down what it means. Spontaneous coronary artery dissection. It's where inside your heart, one of the lower arteries just dissects, and nothing you can really do about it. You can't put a stent in there. It's just too deep into the heart. So it will heal on its own, they think. And she really thanks you for your prayers, Drina, and the whole community, and just the fact that you put it out there for her prayer or for a prayer request. She does feel that. And right now she's on the couch. Basically spends her days there. They told her she would be very tired, and it would be 3 to 4 months of cardiac rehab that she's going to be starting. But Drina, I'm passing along our family history here, but you guys have gone through it too. Obviously, with Mike's even passing, huge issue there. It's funny how it's. For all of our families, would we not admit, and Jorge, you can probably say the same, if it's not one thing, it's another. That's just how it feels, right? You just keep going from one crisis to another. Yeah. And the Lord knows how to keep those crises I always envision myself, and Susan, just right up to the edge of a cliff, and then he pulls us back and keeps us safe. And then we get it right out to the edge of another one, pulls us back. And whether it's financial or relational or health, the Lord has a way of doing that for us all, and it does keep us on our toes and our spiritual loyalties in place. I think when you have nowhere else to turn but the Lord, it does strengthen that. So that's how Susan has seen this. Her faith is better than mine. I mean, she's just an incredible lady, and as well as Drina. I mean, you and her go back as long as me and Mike did. So she thanks you so much for your prayers and just wishes for more, I guess you'd say. Yeah. And we will be, one of her first concerns when this happened 2 weeks ago, she asked the doctor several times, whether it be the cardiologist or the pulmonologist. She saw a lot of different specialists, and she said, "Can I still go to Colorado October 8th?" Because we want to get to the conference, and they all said yes. So for a while there, we were thinking of driving. What a relief. Yeah. For a while, we thought of just, getting in the car and taking a couple-day trip both ways. But they said flying should be fine. So we'll see you there. And looking forward to the paper that I'll be doing on salvation. So I hope, everyone gets to meet Susan as much as I get to meet everyone. So did I touch all the bases there? She's
Yeah, I mean,
She's kind of a rare case. Even
yeah,
as she's gone through all this, she's had other diagnoses that are like 1% of this, 1% of the American population has this, and 0.2% of the population has this, and she's got them all, kind of a thing. So she's kind of an interesting case,
right.
and
Yeah, and when
it is
we
what it is,
we when we took our marriage vows 40 years ago, in sickness and in health, I
There you
had
go.
to go through that. And, Mike would say, I'm sorry you're having to go through this with me. And I said, you do the same for me. And that's what I
Hmm.
committed to all those years ago. And I was honored to do that for him. And I know he passed away, and that was, the Lord's will. And my life is beautiful and full of joy and peace and comfort. But the community surrounding us, as you guys can feel, was really important to me. And it really got me through all the messages and the prayers. I could feel them, even though I didn't get the answer. And Mike didn't get the answer that he wanted or that I wanted,
Hmm.
but the Lord was there to sustain, and it wasn't easy. And it never is, but when you come
Yeah.
out the other side, you can see more clearly. And so,
There'll be another
anyway,
crisis next year, guarantee it.
yeah.
Right?
So,
It's just how
yeah.
it is. But
Anyway, so, yeah. Well, tell us a little bit, not because you're not a stranger to tragedy, like in your family. Just give us a little bit, if you feel comfortable. It started in college for you, um, when your
well,
dad.
a month before our wedding, 1986, my dad was killed in an accident. So my mom walked down the aisle alone, and that was hard. And then 5 years later, we were in Texas at the time. And I think you guys were too. Maybe you had just gone to
Mhm,
Pennsylvania, I think. And
mhm,
my sister Sherry was killed. She's 21, and she was killed in another accident. So within 5 years, we lost my father and my sister. And between those two, that same sister's fiance was electrocuted and he died. My all four or three of our four grandparents died within those 5 years too. So it was just a horrific 5 years.
yeah.
And so it's been I've always wondered how my life would have been different had Dad been with me, those kind of
Mhm,
things. And he died when I was 24. So I
mhm,
often think of how Jesus lost his father, we presume, between 18 or between 12 and 30. He seems to have lost Joseph, and so
mhm.
I I don't know how to compare that, but it's one of those
Right.
stories where I don't know how life would have gone with him. It certainly was interesting and painful without him, but he was a good man, and I feel his presence all the time. I have things on my wall from him. I have a letter from him when I was 13, my 13th birthday, and I also have the little quip that the preacher said during his prayer at my dad's funeral. Just listen to this. I just love this. I wrote this out when I heard it. Like a lordly cedar green with boughs, he goes down with a great shout upon the hills and leaves an empty place against the sky. That's how I think of my father. I think of Mike that way too. Some people, when they
Yeah.
pass away, they just leave this space that um, you never replace. And
Right.
the
Right.
world is a different place because of it. But yeah,
Mhm,
so that was the tragedies that we had between 86 and 91 that kind of set our family on a certain course, and it's
mhm.
kept us close since then. And
Right.
the running, I wouldn't call it a joke, but my two sisters and my mom, sometimes we look at each other and say, well, who is God going to take next? Because he took the most godly people of our family. Dad and Sherry were the two were the two best, and so of the rest of us, we'll see who God takes
And you
next.
know
But
what Mike's answer to that was, because I had asked him, why is God taking you? You have so much to
mhm.
offer, more to offer. And he says, because I'm ready.
Okay, yeah,
And the others may not be.
that's
So,
fair. Yeah, how to know when God's going to say it's your turn? That's
right. Right. So,
yeah, don't know.
anyway, so, oh goodness, I'm sorry. I'm emotional.
Yeah,
But I'm sure, Ron, that these tragedies have helped you because you've been in the ministry for so long. So you have a special qualification, a special empathy towards those who lose really close family members and who
I always
lose
like doing,
Christian family members,
I like doing funerals more than weddings because they're more raw, they're more spontaneous, they're more beautiful. Actually, in my experience, when you get to celebrate a godly person's passing, it is so neat, compared to, and I shouldn't say that weddings aren't beautiful, but the spontaneity of a good Christian funeral, there's something that's lasting about those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so thrilled that Susan has been cleared to come to Colorado, because I know you don't feel comfortable like leaving her even for a day at this point to come do your paper. And I know I said to you, please let me know so I can find a substitute, but you're like, no, we're cleared to go. We're going to be there. So Lord willing, you're going to be there with your lovely bride, and everybody will get to meet her, the woman behind the man. And so I was a lot like Susan. I was like really behind the scenes until I was forced not to be. And so people never really seen me, and now they see me all the time. And but anyway, so it'll be nice to see the both of you together and to be able to hug her and say thanks for coming and all that. But so go ahead.
I was going to say, when we were in Dallas together, remember where we used to live, that retirement village?
Yes.
And you guys lived across the street, and we were concierges at that retirement village when we were in school. And I was the front table or the front desk person that people would meet. And I'll never forget this just passing comment someone made. After they met me and we talked, and I introduced them to the place, showed them around, and they were talking to the lead lady there, the administrator, and she said something like, "Oh, he was a very nice man." And I'll never forget, the administrator said, she didn't know I heard this. She said, "Oh, you got to meet his wife." He might be nice, but you got to meet his wife. And I just thought, yeah, that's fair.
That's great.
She's the better half. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone at the conference gets to meet her.
She's literally half of you, because Ron's like 6'3" and she's like 4'8" or something like that.
4'11", yeah.
So she's almost literally half of you. So it's a precious couple, and they have 3 beautiful children with lots of grandkids, and it's great. So Ron, what have you been doing lately? Have you been writing? Have you been doing ministry? Catch us up on, I know you do the podcast, so that's great. Yep. We love hearing from you. And but catch us up on what your life looks like right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I was asking Susan the other day, what do I do all day? Because there's this, you're always doing something. And so I was teaching a Sunday school class for several years, Sunday morning, with a group of about 30 adults. That really kept me busy, and that's going to be starting that has spun off into a Bible study that's going to be starting this fall. So every Monday night I'll have a hour and a half Bible study with a group of about, 15, 20 adults that's going to take us through another study that we have to figure out. I'm doing the systematic theology book that I'm sure, like Mike's computer screen, your desktop is just full of documentation. You're trying to stuff it all together, and that's just a constant issue. We're putting together the Genesis commentary, or the Genesis podcast that we did, or the DCW podcast where we went through Genesis. That's coming out in a notes of that podcast. So that's coming out soon, September. I think we had contracted to get that done.
Right.
So I'm working on that. Also, John, we just finished in the podcast the book, The Gospel of John. So I'd like to turn those transcripts around and potentially get that into a book. We had a previous live stream, if you recall, with a gentleman named Robert Hatfield, who has taken all those daily doses that I did and put them into PDF form. And so we've got to get that off the table too, because he's got hundreds of pages of work that can be done.
That's exciting.
So it's just a lot to do, but he's willing to help that project. What else do I do? I work a regular job too. I forgot about that. So during the day, I work at a financial institution. So that takes most of my day. 6 grandchildren keep my other part of my life busy. What else do I do?
And your mom, don't you give her
I
breakfast, feed her breakfast every morning?
My mom is in assisted care, so I
She
go over
is.
twice a day, morning and night,
Okay.
and I get her up, put her teeth in, put her hearing aids in, get her
Aw.
going, and then I go back at night and reverse the process and put her to bed. So she's 90 and in stages of memory care, so that's also makes my day busy but fun. I mean, how many sons get to take care of their mother, every day? So that's my role there too. So.
Ron, I feel guilty adding anything to your plate. Anything more for the
Well, yeah,
foundation.
I'm writing a paper for the Divine Council conference this October that I'm real excited
That's right.
about.
And we will talk about that in a bit.
Yep.
So let's not talk about that yet, because it's a very different way of like entitling the gospel, or salvation. I haven't heard it in that way before, and I'm excited to hear how you're going to present that and why you have this particular topic. So it'll be good to talk about. But first, before they do that, guys, if you like what you hear, what we're doing here at the foundation, there are ways to support us because we are almost 90% donor driven. And so we appreciate our donors. You guys are the bread and butter. You are the backbone to our foundation, and we couldn't love you and appreciate you more. But there are other ways you can also support the foundation. We have merch. We are updating our merch. Jorge has met with a design team last week, and I'm excited about that. We're going to have an official Divine Council Worldview Conference 2026 t-shirt that you can buy to wear at the conference, and we'll have other merch available. What are other ways, Jorge, that people can support the Michael S. Heiser Foundation?
Yeah, the simplest way is just to come to the Michael S. Heiser Foundation website, michaelsheiser.org, and click on donate. That will be the straight, simplest way to go in there. Just click this button. I'm not going to show you the whole process, but you click that button, and then you can do it through PayPal or just with your debit or credit card. Also, if you sign up for the Michael S. Heiser or the RMSH community, just go to thermsh.org and .com and then click on community. You can sign up there. You can also come to the Michael S. Heiser Foundation Substack and subscribe here, and all of those things will then help us to continue to do what we're doing. Things like what Ron is doing with the podcast and all of the other things. The funding comes from there, including the conference that we're putting together and the merchandise. I actually got word today that the samples for the t-shirts should be ready tomorrow. I will get them. I will take pictures and videos for you. Once we get the thumbs up, we can put in the big order, because I know everybody on the other side of the screen can't wait to get their hands on a new DCW conference t-shirt for 2026. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got some super awesome, Heiser inspired merch coming. It's going to be phenomenal.
It'll be
Please
great.
believe me when I say it. And I didn't design it. I got a couple of guys who are actually fellow Heiserites that understand everything that we're doing here at the foundation, and they are deeply involved with Mike's content and Ron's content and Mike's Chew's content and Muramali's content, that understand how this works. So they were able to put together this phenomenal, and actually I want to have that the main designer here in one of those interviews because he's another one of those individuals that his life, his worldview was completely changed by Mike's work, and it's continued to be changed by everything that we're doing here, including the DCW podcast and all of the other publications that are coming. So yes, those are the latest updates on the merch, and of course the Heiserite hats are coming too. I actually was able to get a deal with them where we can get the high quality blanks that I've been looking for a long time. One of the things, and I told you this, Drina, I don't want anyone to complain about the quality of what we are giving them, because
Mm-hmm.
for me, this is something that I want to buy one time and wear for many years to come. And like I said, these
Yeah.
are not exclusive merchandise pieces, but these are not something that we're going to keep on the shelf for 10 years, right? We're going to try to get something fresh every so often. So if you buy it now, we want you to be able to wear it for years to come and make it last. So that's my
Yeah.
update. Make sure that you come to the Michael S. Heiser Foundation website and support us there.
And I'll tell you, Jorge has a hat collection, and he's really serious about the quality of his hats. Just saying. So I wanted to just tell you a little bit about what you get when you join the DRMSH community or our Substack. You will get access to our book study that we do every Thursday night. It is facilitated by Carrie Griffel, and they are 8 weeks in now. This week will be 8 weeks into The Unseen Realm, the Live in Context video series that Mike did with a Jacksonville friend here. And they'll be finishing that in a few weeks. And then the next book is Gospel Allegiance, What Faith in Jesus Misses for Salvation in Christ by Matthew W. Bates. That will start after we have our first conference in October. And you can get those books at the Michael S. Heiser Foundation shop. So just go to our website and you can click the shop and you can get that book just through our store there. So another thing that you will get live streaming from the conference. Just Saturday, I call our main event. That is where all the scholars and our worship and our prayer and our Q&A will happen, and that will be live streamed. So if you are a member of the DRSH community or the Substack, you will get access to that live on Saturday, October 10th in Colorado. So the next thing I want to talk about is, Ron, your paper topic is, and if you know Ron, he is so good at catching your attention with provocative words or sentences, and you're like, what does that mean? Then he'll just go on and tell you what it means, and he's so good at doing that and bringing humor and things into his talks and his lectures. And I don't think this is meant to be humorous at all, but I'm going to read you his topic for his paper on Saturday at the Divine Council Worldview Conference. It is, does the Divine Council Worldview recommend a specific doctrine of salvation? Question mark. And Ron, I'm just wondering how you came with that topic and that title. Like, what urged you to write a paper on that?
Yeah, and thank you. My concern, ever since I've been, with Mike over these years, and now that Mike has passed away, and I'm part of this this family, and listening to Facebook discussions and being on the podcast, getting Q&A things, and just being a Christian myself, my concern has morphed, I think, over time into a big picture question. In other words, what's the big picture going on here? What's the large story of the Bible? Mike was an expert at some of those issues that I couldn't, for time and ability, dig down, like his understanding of Nephilim and Raphaim and getting into the ancient Near Eastern backgrounds of things, which fascinates me. But that wasn't my issue or my concern as I was, teaching and pastoring. But what did catch my attention, especially of the Divine Council, as we talked together and as he wrote his things and I did my side, was how does it affect the big story of the Bible? And so, in fact, it was the first thing I wrote for him back. This is in 2016. I remember he said, "Can you do something for the website?" And that's where I came up with. Some of our listeners will know of a series I did on the big story of the Bible. I didn't get very far, and then work got so busy I couldn't continue it. But that always was my interest. So when it comes to a topic, if anyone ever, like you did, said, just what would you like to talk about? My mind goes big picture, and how does the divine counsel affect some of the bigger questions of the Bible? And salvation, of course, is one of those. So as I listen to Facebook discussions and talk among those who are part of the DCW, I know there are different opinions about how, whether it be denominational backgrounds, traditions, Orthodox versus Catholic versus evangelical, even among evangelicals, Baptist versus Pentecostal. There's so many shades of denominational backgrounds that come into the DCW. I find it would be helpful. I think it would be helpful to step back and have a paper on, well, let's talk about salvation. Does the divine counsel give us a framework by which to talk about salvation and the gospel, okay? Because we all have our, views on this, that, and the other. In fact, that book that Carrie will be going over, the divine or the Gospel Allegiance book, that's Matt Bates's, work on faith. What is faith? And he comes at it the same way Dr. Mike did, the same way I do, and that is that pistis in Greek, Aman in Hebrew, really centers on loyalty. And so when you have multiple deities from which to choose in the ancient world, and a David or an Abraham chose Yahweh, that's the word Aman. I'm going to be loyal to one and not another, and we call that faith. But that's a million miles from usually how today we talk about the meaning of faith, right? So what I'll be doing is just backing out and talking about what is a DCW, how to talk in terms of a worldview versus the mechanics. If a person wants to be saved, what do they have to believe? How much do they have to know? Do they have to be good at their Christology in order to get saved? Because, as you know, most of us, including me, when I was a child, I didn't know much about Jesus, but I believe I became a Christian. Well, how does that work? So various ways we'll talk it through. The issue of what is faith, worship versus forgiveness, penal substitution, get into a lot of these issues that are commonly debated. Christus Victor, the mechanism, and I'll close with this idea, if the elevator door is closing and you can only shout one thing to someone, that would be the gospel, what would you say, right? And so that's basically where I'm going. So it's a big picture that's honing in on some very key terms that all divine counsel people, I think, talk about in the end, and it'll of course get summarized in, well, what do I have to believe in order to become a Christian? So I look forward to it.
That's great. Yeah, I'm excited to hear it. Like I said, Ron always finds a fun way of presenting his point, and very interesting and joyful to listen to. And so I know we'll all be blessed by that. So if you cannot come to the conference, we want to see you there. But if you can't come, you can join the DRMSH community and you can listen live, and you'll be able to see hear his paper and hear his answers to the questions that the audience gives out. So thank you, Ron. I hope that being part of the Michael S. Heiser Foundation satiates some of your theology nerdiness, and that you are enjoying yourself, and that it's not a burden, but that it is just, we're blessing you as much as you bless us.
Absolutely. I can't imagine. I mean, I wish Mike were here doing what he did, because we miss him. But because Mike's not here, in a lot of ways, why I'm part of this group. I mean, because I'm wanting to fill in ever so slightly some of the footprints that he left behind. But yes. No, it's my greatest honor. And it comes back to my memory of sitting in your living room. If you remember, Mike had just passed away, and me and Susan were sitting there thinking, well, what can we do? And and
you said yes to everything. You said yes to everything. I think Susan, at one point, she put her hand on your leg, like, okay, let's slow down. But Ron, he wants to accommodate, and he wants to be involved. And he really, Mike was one of his best friends, and they had a great love for each other, a great camaraderie, a great respect for each other. And who else is better than to bring Ron on to do this? And, Mike was really concerned about his legacy, and Ron is a big part, a huge part of continuing Mike's legacy. And I'm so grateful. We'll be forever grateful. And we hope we have a long, long lasting partnership and that we can just grow this community and the foundation and the legacy that Mike left behind through the people who are here and loving on Mike and loving his content and then taking it to the next level. And that's what Mike would have wanted, and that's what we want. And thank you so much, Ron, for being here. Now, if there's anything the foundation can do for you guys, if you want to bless Ron and Susan, you can email us at info@heiserfoundation.org. We will get a list of anything that they would need if you want to bless him and his family as they go through, just groceries or whatever. Because, Susan is she's tired and, if we can bless them, we want to do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In any way we can.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, you guys, we will see you next Tuesday. We have another great guest coming on, and we are so glad to have you here tonight. Thank you, Ron, so much for being here. We love you, and I hope you feel that. And we love your beautiful wife, and we can't wait to see you in October.
Thank you, Drina.
Thanks, guys.
Before we go, I do want to go ahead on and interrupt rudely and tell people that don't forget to go to the michaelsheiserfoundation.org and get your tickets for the Divine Council Worldview Conference. We have a limited amount of tickets. Don't wait until last minute. That's very common. Most people kind of get FOMO a couple of weeks before the event and then realize that the space is limited and the tickets are gone. So just make sure that you go there. Just click on the button, get your tickets, get one for a friend, and bless us with your presence. We're super excited to be able to put the first DCW conference of many. We are already planning we're not even done with this one, and we're already talking about what is it going to be in the future. So again, we can always make plans. At the end of the day, the Lord has the last word. But for us, it is a priority to be able to continue to do this moving forward because the work that we're doing, it's important. And now I'll give it back to you, Ron. Thank you for being here. Drina, take us out.
Well, like I said, thank you again for you all being here. We have seen an uptick in ticket sales every day. We get more and more and more. We do have a few scholarships available. So if you are wanting a scholarship, just please email us at info@heiserfoundation.org, and we will get you in touch with someone who can offer you a scholarship to the conference. We do have limited scholarships. We had someone who generously donated some scholarships. So we're happy to have that available to those who would need it. So thank you again for being here, and God bless you all. We love you. Good night.